Hey, hey,
Wow, look at that.
look at all
Must
those
be
people.
some interest in Nvidia earnings.
I hear they're a big company, Mark.
Yeah, a little known company.
Yeah.
50 seconds till market close. I don't know exactly when this.
Nvidia is a chip company for all the AI stuff. They know Nvidia is
Really? Never heard of it.
Never. Ha! If you're not talking, if you would put on mute, that'd be real helpful. We get a lot of crossover in voice. That'd be good. And if you have questions or just want to have some thoughts, please share them. This is to be interactive, and so yeah, I'm just gonna share my screen, Mark.
Okay.
Can you guys see it? Put it on a 1 minute chart. It'll make it fun.
Just live.
Yeah, this is live.
Okay.
Live in Memorex.
Now you're dating yourself there.
A little bit.
Memorex. What the heck's that? Well, market's down. What a day.
It's all been, wrapped around this. I mean, the whole week has been like that. That's for sure.
Wow, look at that wick down on that minute.
Yeah.
Padres rompen el silencio, dicen que todo comenzó cuando tocaron la bocina al ver una moto sin luces en medio de la calle y que el motociclista los
I hear
hizo.
some Spanish.
Pero lo que descubrieron después, en
I think that's Spanish.
Yeah. All right. This is getting, so we're now in after hours. Now we wait.
We'll see when David starts buying.
Yeah. Start pushing the market back up.
Yeah, that'd be David.
Oh my. Hmm.
There's Kerry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kerry, you got any commentary about what we're about to witness here?
I wish I knew.
Yep.
Wish I could speak like
There's the
Howard
market
Cosell.
closed. We are closed.
Yes. So what is Mark? What's the expected by the street?
Oh, yeah, let me show you here.
Mhm.
Okay, hold on here.
Oh, do you want to share the screen?
Yep.
Okay, so I gotta get out of
So
mine.
here's oh, I'm off.
Hold on. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we'll go till they announce here. This is what is expected. Okay, here's what Wall Street expects from the chip maker. Earnings per share 64 cents, revenue 28.7 billion. Uh, Investors be looking for indications that AI demands remains high, while analysts expect Nvidia to post fourth straight quarter of triple-digit revenue growth on Wednesday. Year-over-year comparisons start to get much tougher, and overall growth is expected to slow for the next 7 quarters. October quarter forecasts will be critical for justifying the company's stock price. Analysts are looking for 71 cents in earnings per share on 31.8 billion in sales, which would be about a 77% annual growth rate. Chief Financial Officer will likely provide some data points to investors on the call with analysts that describe the returns on investments its customers are getting on Nvidia orders. That'll be interesting. They also want to talk about this Blackwell AI chip uh, uh, that's having some production issues. So that'll be interesting. With the Blackwell delay, they're talking about that revenue could be pushed into future quarter while boosting current generation Hopper sales, especially the newer H200 chip. So that's what we're looking for.
All right.
And I don't know if it's come out. Anything's come out yet?
No, I don't see anything yet. Here, I'll reshare my screen so that when it does, we can see the fireworks. But yeah, so I noticed today on the VXN, which is the volatility index for the NASDAQ 100, it went up a bit, as well as the VIX, which is the volatility index for the S&P 500. And that I think has a lot to do with SMCI's reporting that they're going to delay their, I believe it's their annual report, because of some potential issues. So I think that created a lot of volatility in those two indexes, which was like 26%. I think it was like I don't know where SMCI ended for the day, but at one point was down like 26% in the morning. So that could have added to a lot of the volatility that we saw in Nvidia today, which at one point was down like 3.5%, which is pretty big
Are you
chunk.
going to access the earnings call?
Let me see if I can do that.
I
Hold on.
can do it if
Okay.
let me see if I can do it at the same time.
You probably have to take your chart down, probably, Trent.
Well, it'd be interesting if we could keep that up.
Yeah.
I've got Bloomberg on one of my screens here.
Yeah, I've got CNBC as well.
Five below.
So you were talking, we did a video yesterday, or that went up this morning, and Mark, you had a very good approach at looking at what Nvidia was facing by looking at its suppliers,
Right.
and their chart performance. Can you sort of just talk a little bit about that while we wait for some news here?
Sure. So I went out and actually looked at who their customers were and looked at their charts, and we did it on the video actually this morning with Kerry. And we went and looked at Meta, and you saw the charts were actually closed today just above the 20, but below the 9. So we kind of came out of that box that we've been looking at, that trading sideways, the S&P, the Qs, and it traded down today. Meta was down 0.5%. And then we looked at Microsoft. Microsoft, again, it went down. It closed right above its 200. So, what we were looking at the S&P and the Qs where they were coiling, they need something to push them either up or down. And I said that will probably be the Nvidia announcement. So now I got a phone ringing. So hold on a second.
The earnings call won't actually happen until 4.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, but they'll announce. It looks like it may be announcing around maybe 3:15, so probably in another 8 minutes or so.
So anyway, Microsoft is down. I looked at, and it just looked like, from a customer point of view, that they weren't too excited about what's coming up, and they started breaking below and outside of that sideways pattern that we were seeing in the S&P and the Qs and Nvidia. And then I went and I looked at some of the suppliers, and just TSM, Taiwan Semi, and Taiwan, is still trading within the box, but it's just trading sideways. So we'll see what happens. It's hard to predict. If they come out and they blow the doors off, it could take the whole market up with it. If they come out and disappoint, it could take the whole market down with it. So
yeah,
going to be interesting.
what was it? There was a gentleman on CNBC this morning that I heard he was projecting I guess the option market is priced in a 10% move either way, so 10% up or 10% down. So that could be really interesting. But that's a pretty wide range, but a big range, that's for sure. Um, so I think a lot of people just don't really know. I know last week Nvidia was representing, I think on Friday, represented 20% of the volume on the S&P 500 alone. So definitely um, a big influence on that index as well as the Nasdaq 100. And what's XLK is the ETF. So there's a lot riding on these guys' shoulders, that's for sure. It could be, I would hate to be in that pressure box.
I'm just watching your minute chart there, and it's trending
Para
down
ver
for
que
sure. Since market closed, it's been trending
Yeah.
down quite a bit.
Yeah, so since you could see where this blue sort of shading is, that's aftermarket.
We will know when it comes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one way or the other. But look at that go. It's still trending down. Just following the lower Bollinger Band. What is
Yeah.
the white line? What is the white line there?
That yellow line?
The white one that's trending down.
Oh, that's the 9.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
That's the 9. Oh, look at this. And what's the yellow line it just crossed?
That's a pivot point. It's an indicator that I use, and it just breaks out pivot points, resistance and support. And it just blew through that.
And it's down 2.1% in after hours, according to Bloomberg.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So anyone else have anything to say? Anyone else? Anyone else in? Did they buy in? Did you guys buy in Nvidia today? Did you get out? Are you holding? What's going on?
I'm just holding. I think my stop loss would be activated at this price. I had a 5%, and I think it was down 2.5 today. But again, your stop loss won't activate in after hours trading. So
Yeah.
So they were saying, Kerry, that this either way, the options market show that it's going to move about 10% either way,
wow.
up or down. It's
Yeah.
going to be what, $305 billion swing up or $305 billion swing down.
Yeah.
This appears to be a pretty light volume compared to during the day, but again, it looks like we're about 3-4 minutes away from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's after hours. A lot of people can't trade after hours.
Right. Huh.
I'm out. So
You're out?
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it go down. It was taking all my profits with it. And I said, not gonna happen this time.
Yeah.
I got
And the
out
thing
yesterday.
is, and like we've seen with some of the other stocks like Tesla, they reported earnings and they missed or they were off, and Tesla took off. When it went north, yet now Tesla's back down, if I remember right. So it's really a matter of where the institutions, I believe, want to take it, and pretty sizable selling today, which who knows what that means. That could be short covering at the end of the day or something of that sort, but you just don't know anymore with earnings. It isn't a one directional kind of thing. Man, it is just pounding to the south. Oh boy.
Earnings, earnings used to be boring before everyone got involved because IBM would come out, it'd go up or down 1/8 of a point, and then everyone go to sleep. And now it goes up 15% or down 15%, and it's almost like entertainment. Well, it must be because we're all sitting here watching it. So,
right. Yeah.
I have no dog in this fight. If I did, I would have been out today for sure on a swing trading. That's just my trading guidelines. I don't invest in Nvidia, and I haven't traded in it for a while. How about Supermicro, man? Down 20% today.
I got a class action lawsuit. No, that was on Symbotics today.
Symbiotics, yep.
Uh, some lawyers want to sue them over their last quarters. They said they knew about their setback before they disclosed it.
Oh
Which
wow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the lawyers chasing.
Yeah. I think you're going to see possibly more of that in the coming
The
months.
Supermicro, though, that Hindenburg, they've taken down a lot of companies. We talked about it on the Discord today a little bit in the Platinum uh, live channel, and from what they're saying is they kind of had some accounting issues and also some orders and deliveries that were not quite right, were not
Yeah,
there. And then I saw that the company itself is delaying submitting its 10K to the SEC, which is not a good sign either. That they don't have the confidence to put that in. They want to go check it out and make sure it's right, because whoever signs that's responsible for
right.
it, which is usually the CEO.
So
Well, I
sales,
read something too that this happened to them some time in the past. Um, and they fired a lot of employees, but then they have since hired them back.
Yeah, the executives. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
so Salesforce just beat earnings estimates. President CFO Amy Weaver is stepping down, so that's interesting. Anybody who owns Salesforce, I believe that's symbol CRM.
The firm came out, looks like a firm beat too.
Yeah, Salesforce was $2.56 adjusted versus the
But that
expected two
spike
dollars and
that
thirty
just
six.
happened there. Look at this.
And it was a wick.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, and after I was trading, you got to be careful because there's not that much volume. So the bids and the ask spread can
Oh,
get quite wide. And if it opens up, you're going to see a lot of those wicks, like you see, way back, you can see a wick went all the way down to that yellow line. And the same thing can happen. There's not enough volume. And so
right.
the distance between the bid and the spread can really spread out. And that's what happens.
I can't believe anybody would put in a market order though with this kind of volume.
Now it could have
Oh
been a
no, they're
limit.
putting
It could have been a limit that there was nothing in between them, and whatever was above it cleared it, and then it popped up and then came back down.
Okay.
So
that's one of those things where when the bid and ask start to widen out, it's a representation of a low liquidity. So as they get wider, that spread widens up. You're seeing a lack of liquidity, but when they're super tight, you can tell there's more liquidity, there's more interest in whatever direction they're pushing it.
well, I
So
mean, it means, in swing trading, I try to get at least 750,000 trades per day on average, because it just gives us enough enough demand, supply and demand to get in and out. If you
yeah.
don't have it, you see what happens here in Nvidia. You can really get messed up. Yep.
Well, we're past.
HP is down 5%. They came out with earnings.
That doesn't really surprise me. I just don't think the HP and Dell have yet to garner any benefit from this. Although I've never not heard anything about them. Wow. We're within a minute or two.
Yeah.
The photographer was allowed to be there to take pictures.
Wow. There's some real confidence coming in here. Somebody
Holy
got an
smokes.
early look.
What's our volume though? I can't read it.
What's that?
What's the volume on that?
3.300, what, 30? Well, it's moving around a lot. So about 19,000.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
right?
not
Somebody
much.
got an early look.
No, they're driving it up so they can
But
zip it down.
Whoa.
It's on fire.
They haven't reported yet, have they? I don't see
it
anything.
hasn't come up on Bloomberg.
It's going up like crazy.
What is
It
it? What-
is.
Nvidia stock.
Trent, did you watch that full Peter Thiel interview with Joe Rogan?
Not, I got halfway through it.
Meeting with these guys.
My God, they are conspiracy theorists. Did you get into
Oh,
the discussion about Bill Gates
No, I didn't.
and Jeffrey? What's his name?
Epstein.
Yeah.
Oh, about him giving Bill marital advice?
Well, now look at that. Holy crap.
Yep. This is why you got to be careful in after hours, especially on earnings. Oh, look at that. Now look at that wick back up. There's just not
Wow.
enough. There's just not enough, volume. Although the volume spiked up, I don't know what that is.
That's because they report it. Or,
No,
oh my God.
I haven't seen it yet.
somebody knows something.
Yeah.
Wow, now it went down 128.
Yeah. It's, wow, that's 1 minute. I don't,
Look at the volume starting to pop up.
yeah. Has anybody seen anything?
Well, I got Bloomberg says Nvidia results imminent.
Yeah, they haven't reported yet. Oh boy. Earnings out. Here are the numbers. Is that what reports earnings after the bell? No, it's not. Come on. It probably could be like 3:30 Central.
Here we go. Now it's coming.
Just got a Yahoo Finance update here.
30 billion.
What did they say on Yahoo Finance?
60 cents per share.
And what were they expecting?
Adjusted EPS 68 cents.
Oh, well, that may not compare with the 64 cents. Revenue was 30.4 billion versus 28.7 billion expected. So they beat there.
Did your chart stop?
No.
Data center revenue is 26.3 billion. Estimate was 25.08 billion.
Okay, what am I looking at? Are you on Bloomberg or CNBC?
Bloomberg.
Huh.
$50 or 50 billion in share buyback.
Nvidia earnings.
Yep.
Go.
That candle don't look very good.
No. 165,000. 179,000. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised it gets down right around here, at 120, 118 to
Earnings
120 mark.
Earnings per share 68 cents adjusted versus 64 cents expected. Revenue 30.04 billion versus 28.7 billion. Nvidia said expected about 32.5 billion in the current quarter revenue versus 31.77 billion expected by analysts. And that's all I got right now.
So Mark, you talked about today, we were talking about GAAP and non-GAAP earnings.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, is how you're supposed to report your earnings and report your financials. And everyone, because you have the same standards, everyone reports the same way. And then on top of that, they always put in non-GAAP, okay, which are the adjustments they put in. That Warren Buffett hates this, because he's like, they'll take out, stock-based compensation, say, well, that's nothing, and Warren Buffett says, well, it is something because you owe somebody something, you're just delaying it. And if you have a write-off or you have a expense or something, they'll say, well, that's a one-time occurrence. We're going to put that in non-GAAP. So it's like this. It's like the CPI. It's like the CPI. Let's do the core CPI. We'll take out energy and food, okay? Which nobody, and that's what it is. They take out what they want, and every company can do it. And you can see they have non-GAAP, and a lot of times the financial stations will use non-GAAP, okay, which I don't like. I like GAAP because then you can compare, apples to apples, and if I have the opportunity to take out, if I'm going to the IRS and say, I made this much this year, but if you take out my gas, you take out my house and take out how much I drank in beer and all this, I only made like $10. And, that's kind of what they do,
Yeah. So the number you really, if you want to see the health of a company, is more of the GAAP.
That's what I use. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It came down here.
Companies like to use non-GAAP when they do the earnings call and stuff because it's a better looking number. They can manufacture it higher or better than the GAAP number if they wish.
But they said Nvidia, the headline is Nvidia reports 122% revenue growth on surging demand of data center chips.
That's pretty damn good.
What's that?
That's pretty damn good. 120% revenue growth. The only thing the other side of it is projections for the future. If they come then back and say, yeah, but that's a one-time event.
Yeah.
I've heard so many people say it's really going to be dependent on the inflection in Jensen's voice.
Yeah.
That if he conveys that everything's good and everything's going to just keep getting better, but I don't see how you can ignore that advanced micro devices and Intel are going to compete with them.
Yeah.
And when you get competition on a high demand product, the price comes down and your operating margins come down. But they own the market right now, and right now they have a moat around them.
Yeah. Well, that moat's moving around a lot.
It really is. We're like what, from $128 down to 116. So that's $12 on 120. That's a 10% move.
There you go.
That's what the option said.
That's what they said. Now we need to see the 10% upside.
But that'll probably,
You know, it's interesting because I'm looking and you know they appear to do okay in their numbers, but obviously right now the market doesn't think it hit it out of the park. You know, the way
Again,
we're looking at.
it you have in the factoring in the price, you always have the anticipated number in today's price. So if you're going to get a 10% increase, I would say the number that's really important is the next quarter.
Yeah,
Ribs are pretty
Then
good.
you
yeah,
factor
markets.
in the
Yeah,
competition.
yeah, markets are forward looking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
huh.
Interesting.
Well,
And what's interesting to me here also is this aftermarket volume is exceeding the market volume.
oh, earlier today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pull it out even further and see. Uh, yeah,
Yeah. There you go. So that was start of the day, right about here at the end of the screen. You can see
and
the
the only time
volume.
they matched it was around 10, 9
Yeah.
a.m.
Yep.
Really crazy that all this fancy trading is taken out after hours.
Yeah, that I gotta believe that's not normal. I don't know. I've never watched this.
Well, the
Well, you
market
got
It's
closes.
you know
it's
10%
dependent
is
on the company.
10% is 305 billion. Okay, on a swing price, so
After the
it's a lot.
market,
It's
you
a
can
lot.
still trade for a couple hours
Yeah.
after
Yeah,
the
but
market closes.
I,
this is
I
a
think
That's why when
this
I buy
is
and sell stuff and I put in an order, I put it in for before market and after market.
gotcha.
well, this doesn't look to me. We're down 5% now. Doesn't look to me that the market is too thrilled yet about what they saw. Now it's not, but it hasn't really died other than that, you know, first dip down, but it's still
Right.
down.
I think it'll come down to their earnings call and their
Yeah,
guidance. I think
yeah.
that's when it'll get interesting. So yeah, I think this is the initial, here are the numbers. How do I, take it, take advantage of that in after hours? You probably had a lot of short,
Well, the way that most of these earning calls work is that Jensen is giving the first 10 minutes of it, and then the CFO will come in and crunch the numbers for you. And then at the end of um her talk, which takes another 10, well, probably no, these things usually go for an hour. She will basically at the end of her talk give the projections for the future. And then the analysts come in the last half hour and ask questions. But
yeah,
the decisions are always made
yeah,
before the analysts ask the questions. That's interesting.
yeah. So that gives
Seems,
us a view what's happening.
yeah.
Um, I
I'm
could
glad you
definitely.
thought of this. I've listened to a lot of earnings calls, but I've never watched the charts move with them.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
going to have to find a way to do that in the future.
I think you probably could.
Yeah, I
On your
can. Well, you can get on the earnings call on Seeking Alpha, and
yeah,
then just leave the recording on, and then you go to your chart and put it on the 1 minute. And yeah, I could do this.
yeah. You
Yep.
actually don't have to learn to watch the earnings call, especially probably this one. You just watch the chart on a
Well,
minute basis, and if he says something that isn't really good, you'll see the candlesticks move up and down
yeah,
so widely. Yeah. So, and what's crazy is probably a lot of that call will be monitored by some algorithm and they'll make decisions, buys and sells as he talks.
hmm.
And if any of it's the guidance is low, they'll go or high, they'll go, in that direction during
I,
it's
I
how
just saw I saw a banner go by, talked about that their guidance is lower than the highest estimate, whatever that was.
Is lower than the highest estimate.
Their guidance, yeah.
Huh.
That's just what that's what the banner said across Bloomberg.
Okay. Well, what do you think?
Well, I think listen to the conference call and see what happens, because a lot of times that's where the direction goes. But right now, you're down 4 or 5%.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do a convincing show to get it back up, and we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, the call starts in 30 minutes. I don't think we all want to hang out here and watch this thing bounce around for 30 minutes. But I think the takeaway is, as markets open tomorrow, be aware that a lot of orders are being put in by retail tonight in anticipation. So you, in that first 30 minutes, just think of it as you're at the country club or at the pool, and they have a 30-minute kiddie pool moment. The adults stay out of the pool and the kiddies play in the pool. That's the first 30 minutes of the day. And as these orders come through, they filter through typically the first half hour. And after the first half hour of market open, that's when you start to see the institutions, the big boys come in and start moving the market. And so just be cautious. Don't make any rash decisions in the first 30 minutes. Let the market sort of open up and let these orders that I know are going to come in pretty heavily, especially depending on what they say at the open. But risk manage and definitely protect your wealth. So any last comments from anybody?
Well, they said, I just saw Bloomberg, that their forward guidance was 32 point some billion. The highest estimate was 37.6 billion. So
say those numbers again.
At 32 point some billion was their guidance. And the highest estimate was 37 point something billion. It's gone now.
Yeah, what do they do?
Oh,
okay.
You get with Kerry. What is the lowest? Do you know?
I think it was 31.
Oh, so it's down towards the low end of the side of it.
Yeah.
So this earnings call actually hasn't started yet, has it?
Starts at 4 Central.
So what we're seeing is a reaction to the press releases they put out.
Right.
Okay. So this is not actually the call.
No, this is the numbers have come out across the wire. This is the market responding to it. I think the thing that will move this in the estimated 10% up or 10% down will be their guidance.
Yeah.
And what they and the tone of Jensen's voice in that first 10 minutes. So that'll be the determining element of all this.
Well, they'll probably want to get a little more detail on the production issue of their newest chip too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It looks like it's settling right in the middle of the two extremes.
Yeah. You can see this if you see this square that's been
right, and the volume it's forming a flag.
Well, no, this square basically is basically even. Well, it's 70% of its long, so they're buying more long volume, so there's more support there. And so the way I'm looking at this is, okay, that's a support area, and so it's just building a support. So this, if you're trading this is where you would see a move higher potentially. So there's more volume on the buy side.
Yeah, there's there's a small volume right now, coming down. So people are losing interest.
Well, I think they've made their money until the call, and that's when you're going to see this thing start moving again. So,
Okay, I'm going to check out.
all right. Thanks for
Yep.
joining.
Thanks for putting this up.
Yeah, totally. So we're gonna have a replay of this. I'll put it up later tomorrow.
Okay.
And so it's available if anybody wants to watch it. And yeah. So anyways.
Mark, I don't know, but we got some very good comments on the commentary that you and Trent did in today's video. So
Oh, good.
that's
Good. I'm glad.
something. In fact, one person said that second guy is pretty credible.
Little do they know.
Okay. But that old man, he needs to.
So that's your new nickname is Mr. Credibility now, Trent.
Oh, was he referring to me? I thought he was referring to you.
No, you were the second guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. So, all right. Well, looks like it's going back up. Thank you all for jumping in on this, and we hope to do more of this, but we'll probably do a Fed call on the 17th of September. Yeah, when he gets out and announces, see what happens then.
Boy, that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, this looks like it's going to do exactly what we said yesterday. Going
There's
to bounce around and end up right where it
on it.
started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think there'd be
Well,
more.
But we got our tail end kicked on Pure Storage, Applied, Iris Energy, Navitas, all of them. Not good. 10 to 15% down.
wow.
Yep, I'm 10 to 15% down on everything.
Yeah.
You have your stop losses in, David?
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, stop losses during earnings calls pretty dangerous with that thing whipping back and forth.
yeah, I just don't own it. Or reduce your position.
That's
Yeah.
why my trading
The Chinese,
plan says get out before earnings, so then I don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
everybody else,
I think you're right.
Yep.
I think you're right.
and the Latinos. They don't like that shit either.
All right. I'm gonna skate, you guys.
All right. You guys have a great evening,
Yeah.
and thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. And y'all have a wonderful rest of the week. Join us for our calls on Friday. If you're not a member, we do have a 14-day free trial going. So check that out. We have a call at 11:30 Central with Mark and I, and then Kerry's call is at 3 o'clock Friday as well. And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day and great rest of your week. See
Thank
ya.
you, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks,
Take care.